All right. All right. Everybody see me okay? It's not a car stream if there aren't technical issues. Am I right? All right, let's see what we got here. Yo, what's up, that one guy? What's up, Fruit Bats? How we doing? Ludlow Vert, hope you're having a good night so far. YouTube, can you see me? Twitch, can you see me? Unknown Morrow, thanks for the follow. For some reason, my chat is not showing me YouTube chat. That's bugging the crap out of me. So bear with me, everybody, while I get my chat up and running and knock out my daily writs here real quick. How's everybody doing today? What's the weather like in your neck of the woods? Has it snowed where you're located? Is it raining where you're located? Is there black ice where you're located? Is it sunny and hot? 70 and sunny where you're located? Come on. What in the... Sorry. You'll wonder why I'm getting a little frustrated. For some reason, I need to be able to read Twitch chat. 55 and clear. Birchelak, where the hell are you? 55 and clear. Dallas Fort Worth. Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, you know, that's what happens when you live in a place like that. 66 and sunny. Hey, Nathan King. Hey, Ludlow Vert. Cold and drabby. Freeway got shut down due to harsh weather. That's brutal. Sorry to hear that. Colder than normal, but Florida. So, yeah. Fruit Bats, why are you calling it cold in Florida? They don't know what cold is. I think that's part of the reason why Florida gets so ridiculous. So extra. Is because it's they don't have 4 seasons. I've always maintained that you need 4 seasons to keep you centered. And oh, it was in the 40s. It was in the teens up here this week. Everybody see my game okay? I'm going to turn up the volume in it just a wee bit. You know what? Let me make sure the music's okay. Make sure the music's all right, so that everybody can hear me, but hear a little bit of music. All right. Good. Then turn that onto performance mode. Over 2/3 of humans have never seen snow. Tenderizer with the Prime sub. Thank you a bunch, and thank you for the follow. Open up this dashboard real quick. I'm going to do these writs, and then we're going to jump into some battlegrounds. I was looking to just relax a bit and maybe peek over at some news headlines and see what we want to talk about. Would you all be okay with that? Yeah, YouTube chat's not showing up. The restream chat is acting up, and it's bugging the crap out of me here. I don't know why it isn't. But, it's a pain. Hey, Nathan? Tenderizer. That's a hell of a name. Thanks for the sub. Okay. Take out my teaspoon there. Unfortunately, the YouTube chat might only be showing Twitch chat because there's only so much I'm going to fiddle with it until we just need to get on about our business. You know what I mean? I could sit here and fuss with... Listen, everybody on YouTube, I'm sorry. Thanks for the follow, Astamite. Everyone on YouTube, sorry if your chat's not showing up on screen. I do apologize. I'm experiencing some technical issues, as I generally do. Hey, Astamite, thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the support. Yeah, I'm acclimated to the weather too, but I'm used to Ohio. And the great saying about Ohio is if you don't like the weather in Ohio, wait 5 minutes and it will change. Ohio weather is... Or Ohio, where the weather is as bipolar as the people, is my favorite saying. All right. Can everybody hear me okay? Music's not too loud. Sound is coming in good. Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming, too. Listen, Wyoming, I'm beginning to think, is its own special case of weird. You know, everything I hear about Wyoming, I hear more and more strange things. You know, I didn't actually have much game sound on, Astamite, but I will turn it up a little bit. I have to turn up my desktop audio here just a bit, because I usually keep that down just so as to not... Well, no. You probably won't hear much of the game. Okay, so... Can you hear the game now? Literally nothing about Wyoming. Don't you live in Wyoming? I need to go pick up the daily quest. So, you live in Cali. I lived in Southern California. Hey, what's up, Merc? I lived in Southern California for 4 years, actually, and it was pretty wild. I had the opportunity to live and do some pretty fun work out there. Californians are crazy too, though. And it's an expensive place to live, but I lived in Garden Grove. And I did live in northern LA County as well. It was fun. Tenderizer, I very much recommend Elder Scrolls Online. What's up, Possessed Merc? I do recommend it. I think it's one of the better MMOs on the market right now. Moving sucks. Moving is terrible. Like, moving is hot garbage. Especially in California where everything's expensive. Like, moving is just... It's just bad. Alright, let's see here. Moving, it just sucks. It just sucks. It's no fun, people. Wish I could figure out how to get my YouTube chat to stop being stupid and show up on the stream, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's no fun if you don't have anyone to help you move. What's up, Danuko, by the way? Welcome to the party. I gotta win 3 matches. Alright, we can do this. Let's go. Let's go! Let's go! There it is. There's the cue. Let's go. Late for what? You're not late for anything, Dan Uko. By the way, thanks for the follow, Creeping1, over on Twitch. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So, looking at the news, folks, it's far, 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 far from what we were promised. It's far from what we expected. Well, I'm not going to say that. I expected disappointment, but it's far from what we were promised. It's far from what the campaign was sold on. But the Vice President did cast a tie-breaking vote today on the COVID relief bill in the Senate. So it is going forward. No other way to say it. To my knowledge, you're looking at means tested, $1,400 checks. Shit. It's alright, we got this. Oh no, you're not gonna outbow me, motherfucker. You know, I think that they're looking at some income limits based off of 2019 income is the last thing that I had heard regarding the relief bill and what they're going to be passing. Light him up. That's the thinking about anarchist game dev. You know, we've seen already that really good games can be made without crunch. They can be made without chasing these arbitrary and inhuman deadlines, right? You know, I haven't even played. I don't even know what it's about. But people keep saying that the Hades is an amazing game. I know a bunch of people stream it. I know I would probably do better and be better optimized for more views if I were to stream Hades, but I don't know what it's about, and I like streaming Elder Scrolls Online. So, sue me, I guess. Never heard of Hades. Yeah. Well, apparently it was a really great released game that came out with fairly reasonable and humane workloads for its devs. You know, no crunch. Yes, living in the green. When they say means testing on relief, they are talking about just another way to screw over people who might be not documented. But here's what I will say. They're basing it, from what I can tell, they're basing it off of tax returns. And so if they have at least the documentation in terms of tax returns, then they should be able to get paid. Homeless are not going to make the cut. Homeless probably generally don't have tax returns. There should definitely be some kind of process for getting some kind of aid directly to the people experiencing homelessness or houselessness. I mean, that would definitely that needs to be a part of any of these relief packages. If it isn't, then we're doing a disservice to millions of people in this country. I am familiar with the Sky Oblivion project, yes. The Elder Scrolls is very community driven. Elder Scrolls Online, I would say more so, but honestly probably less so, since it is a modded game. There are mods. I'm using mods right now, but it has very strict limitations on the mods, obviously, because it is a multiplayer game. It's an MMO, so it works a little bit differently. But whereas I would say like the single player Elder Scrolls games, you know, whole new games have been built out of these games. It's insane. Got him. Oh. Yes, they are limited, obviously, for balance reasons. You are absolutely right. And here's the problem. Making a game is expensive and time consuming. So when you're making a game, you're talking about, like, if someone wanted to make an original creation, an intellectual property that was community driven, or at least had such a strong collective effort from an entire team of creatives, right? You're talking about something that would require either a lot of funding to do, and capital doesn't come unless the people providing the capital see that there's a focus on profits. That's the biggest issue. That's why crowdfunding has become so big and such a huge thing, is because, you know, it's hard to get those bank loans. It's hard to get those corporate profit. It's hard to get that corporate capital unless you are running a traditional capitalist-centric type studio or development. You know, they don't want to hear that you're making it community based and you're putting a lot of creative control into the hands of the community. Shit. All right. He's dead. Do 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 do. All right, these fools need to stop. Living in the green. What's if you... Hey, what's up? What up? Shut up. Hey, how's it going? Living in the green. Yes, you're right. If you have to build everything from code, it is extremely labor intensive. Obviously, there's a lot of different programs out there, character creator programs. There's also programs out there that allow you to... Well, obviously, there's tons of drag and drop assets out there, which is a huge boon. And then, you know, I just recently found out that there's a whole movement called no code, which is literally building UI driven coding for doing things like game dev and software development. Blender is fuss. Don't know anything about Blender. Did I go to college? Yes, Ventos. I went to college. What's up? Let me kill this fool. We got to get ahead. Alright. I can't see my dashboard because this is in the way. That is true. You can make a game with a lot of free stuff. So you can get free stuff. Basically, it's a matter of having people who can afford to have the time to crowdsource and have the energy and dedication to crowdsource an unpaid venture like making a whole game. Anyone can do it. Unreal has a lot of free assets. Then what's a buddy of mine does game development, and with the I know with Unreal Engine he's been doing some big stuff, and he's been working on a game himself. MMOs are hard for not just from a coding standpoint and a net code standpoint, but also a hosting, and that's also a trick with MMOs. You got a lot to deal with. You got hosting. You have balancing, you have play testing, you have net code, you got all kinds of bullshit. Come on, team. Jesus. There are properly free alternatives out there. Yeah, Astamite, that is true. I hear people... Let's see, over there in YouTube chat. Bren, I do actually play Hold'em. Bren, I like to think I'm decent at Hold'em. I used to play it quite a bit on my phone. And then way back in the day, I used to play Yahoo Poker, which was a lot of fun. Used to smoke them folks on Yahoo Poker. I was cold with it. You know, I've had a bad run of luck lately with poker, but, you know, I should get back into finding a game. Right, so you're talking about distributed. The thing is, how much of this are people going to be playing off of their local client or their local machine? Like, are they basically all going to be hosting a distributed copy locally, and all your... Is it just going to be like LAN? Or at the end of the day, if you're making an MMO, you got to have something. You have to have something somewhere that's hosting some stuff, even if it's just a matter of connecting machines to each other. God, these guys never quit. IP law is a big issue. Well, there could definitely be some reforms on public domain, but, you know, people have been talking about that for ages. You know, here's the good news. I mean, to my knowledge, Mickey Mouse comes out of public domain in our lifetime. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that's pretty awesome. I think if Mickey Mouse becomes public domain, I can't draw for crap, but I would definitely do. Hey, there's a victory. I would definitely do a drawing stream of Mickey Mouse. Just the worst, most offensive crap that I could. You were a Mormon missionary. Wow. Did you have to go soul winning? Did you have to go... Did you have to go out to try and convert people? Astamite, you know, it just depends. In order to get the IP, Disney would have to find some kind of way to push through yet another change to copyright law. That's what would have to happen. Now, they've done it in the past. I'm not saying that's completely beyond the pale. What I am saying is that they would have to do it again. And it's much less in their favor of happening this time around. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Alright. I have not played Disco Elysium. I don't even know what it's about. Isn't it like a top-down kind of story RPG? You thought it was a kind of beer. Ludlow Vote. No, this is a little tea blend that I put together. It's a little tea blend. It's a thing that I use when I know I have to do a lot of talking. Keeps my voice nice and crisp and deep, so I can give you all the deepness. I had a cocktail earlier. So, Astamite, I know a little bit about TES lore. I don't know about the community. Are there people who catalog and do the wikis for TES lore? I have friends that do, like, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines lore, which is pretty wild. The deepness. Insanely well written. Yeah, I will definitely have to check out Disco Elysium. If I'm not mistaken, YouTuber Renegade Cut was a huge fan of that game. Any channel goals? Tenderizer? I don't know, beyond get that bag, I guess. I don't know. I would like to just reach a lot of people. I mean, that's pretty much the only goal, right? Living in the green, what you hit right there is the nail on the head. Like, I would love to make a video game. I do. I would love to make a video game. Right now, what I have to offer, though, is not coding. I can't code for shit. And there's probably better graphic designers out there. So, you know, most of my focus would be around, I don't know, outlining, storyboarding, and maybe music and audio. And I do know a thing or two about Foley as well. And honestly, it sounds cringe, but project management is kind of a thing I do in my IRL job. And so ideally, though, if I have this idea for a game, I would love it if I could assemble a team to help me make this game a reality. But I don't know how I could ask people to have to code, ask people to create assets, ask people to create art, ask people to do voiceover, ask people to do, all this stuff, ask people to do playtesting for free this whole time, put in untold free hours so that we could make this collective passion project. That's the problem that you have. Hey, what's up, Adam Ant? Adam Ant will play test for free. That's death of the author might be something that applies in this situation. What up, shut up, we'll do the voice acting for free. All right, I'm getting a crew together. Now, see, you all have to find someone to do the coding for free, though. That's the thing, and the art. And I cannot ask a visual artist to do art for free. They have to deal with that crap so much already as it is. It's horrible. I could never ask that of somebody. So I'd just have to keep saving till I have enough monies together to do it. To commission the art. You know what kind of game I'd like to make? Hear me out, y'all. Okay, so like to make a neo-future or near-future, but Afro-futuristic Metroidvania, right? An Afro-future Metroidvania. That's what I would like to... You said it won't work. That's the game that I want to make. Is an Afro-futuristic Metroidvania game. I like Metroidvania games, especially some of the newer ones that we've seen lately, because for me, a Metroidvania has excellence through simplicity, and it's a simple elegance that you get. You don't need to have 3 dimensions of movement to make a great game or a compelling story. What was I doing? Oh yeah. I was putting this on the bar so I have my proper buff foods. And we're going back in the queue. Let's do this. Walk us through the setting. Okay. Creeping one is disabled on a programmer. When is Congress voting on DC statehood? I don't know if it's been brought up in the session yet. Hey, Cars got us. So, Ludlow Vert, I don't know if it's been brought up for this session just yet. Walk us through the setting. I was supposed to be talking about the news, Tenderizer, but yeah, okay. So imagine, right, I don't know if any of you have been to Accra in Ghana, or maybe even parts of Zimbabwe or Nigeria. There's some really cool metropolitan areas in those parts of the African continent. And I wanted to include a sort of Afrofuturist take on some African lore, right? So I guess now I'm going to delve into some African lore with you all here, right? So West African lore. They have their own versions, distinct from European fantasy and European lore. They have their own versions of lycanthropes and werewolves, right? And it turns out that in a lot of West African lore, of all people, blacksmiths are evil. Yes, folklore, yes. Blacksmiths aren't necessarily evil, but their god that they worship is. So, their god that they worship is evil and has bestowed upon them the power to morph into a were-hyena at night. Can you imagine a were-hyena? That's terrifying. Hyenas are already pretty terrifying creatures. They have one of the strongest bite forces. In nature. So, the idea that I had, and it may sound silly, but you imagine, a fairly metropolitan, high-tech town. I think Yoruba lore, Astamite, if I had to guess. One of the West African ones. So imagine this metropolitan, this very fancy, very metropolitan town. You know, big city, lots of neon, and all that stuff. African metropolitan setting. Yep, I'm tripping over my words here, and I'm not even drunk. But I think what makes it cool, sort of the catalyst for the conflict, is that there's been an infusion, if you will, an incursion of what would normally be considered fantasy-type creatures into this neon, near-future African city, right? So, out of nowhere, you have to start dealing with things like were-hyenas and adzis. I don't know if any of you know what an adzi is. That is a West African monster of folklore. It's basically a vampiric being that can disguise itself as a as a firefly. It can disguise itself as a firefly until it gets close to you, and then it turns into a humanoid creature that sucks your blood. It's crazy. So you would have to use a mixture of higher tech, futuristic weaponry and tools, as well as melee-based combat. Afro-future Shrek. Yes, make sure the opponent looks badass. Very important. You know, don't know a lot about Shrek in this particular context, so you have me confused. You know what? The protagonist, I don't know how the protagonist is supposed to look. Like I said, I would love to make this game. I would love to make a Metroidvania game, and I don't know that at some point I might not download Unity Core and start messing around with making like a really basic background and seeing what it would take to move an asset around that background in a fashion not unlike traversing a map in a Metroidvania. Living in the green. Yeah, I agree with you. More importantly than that, even to me at least, because you know I'm a pretty avid player of Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition, and so what I've wanted people to learn for a long time. You thinking about learning C#? Guys of the Wolf, hey, welcome to the party. I don't know what C# is. Listen. I have pretty severe ADHD. Coding is not for me. I don't know what C# is. I don't know how to begin to learn it. I know it's a programming language, but I don't know what the difference between C# and C++ is. What I do know how to do is use a graphical interface What I do want to do is use a graphical interface and drop assets into place. I know how to do that, and I'm pretty good with that. I have a firm understanding of things like workflows and layers and such, but when it comes down to opening up a console and just hammering out sentences of code, I have no fucking clue what any of that is supposed to look like or be or is. What the hell is C#? Who knows what C# is? It's nonsense. I don't know. If there's any programmers in the audience, would it piss them off if I said Python's better? Would that make them angry? That's true, Astamite. There's a lot of other stuff to do in game dev. Python is definitely better. Adam Ant, thank you. C# is like Java, but if you're looking for a GUI programming language, try out Game Maker Studio. Hey, listen, living in the green. I got 2 people in YouTube chat saying Python is better. Interpreted languages are slower and top-heavy. Different codes for different jobs. Okay. Hey, Monstera. I would love to make a game. I first talked about a game that I would like to see, and then I got off on a tangent complaining about how I can't code. Why? Can you code? Will you code a game for me? Cool, thanks. There is a lot of stuff. There was another question from Tenderizer. Make it not feel like a clone. Here's the thing. I think the setting and the story is what my focus would be, Tenderizer. I would be more interested in telling a cool story and having cool visual setting. I wouldn't care so much about it being a clone of other Metroidvanias because I think that's a really awesome mechanic, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You're learning C++, but you use C#. You think in Unity based. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the mechanics of a Metroidvania and the Metroidvania feel of backtracking and going to find the item you need to get through this part of the level, and side-scrolling and bashing your way through a two-dimensional movement and enemies. It's great. It's kind of like that one person that recently made that... what do we call a game that's like Doom? Like old school Doom. Like Doom, Duke Nukem, Serious Sam, the old school, the old school 2D and 3D Arsenal shooters. What do we call those games? Do we call them Arsenal shooters? Doom-like or Stein-like? Okay, cool. Yeah, there's somebody who recently made a new Doom-like. And it's a cool story, and it's got a badass female protagonist, but it's still a Doom-like. It still has the arsenal and the cool music, the really awesome heavy metal. Yeah, but FPS is kind of taking on a new life. Boomer shooter. Yeah. Proteus. The best is Proteus. Oh, do you know the game I'm talking about? Arena shooter. Is it an arena shooter? Okay, is it a shoot 'em up? Is that... I heard they used to refer to games as a shoot 'em up when I was younger. Is that what it is? You die already? Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go. Interviewing for a job on Tuesday, knows both Python and C++. Okay, hard time in Python. Arena shooters, Merc says. Early access, freaking amazing. Check out Proteus. Okay. Stein-like. You know, I never thought they'd call it a Stein-like. Yeah, so I like the idea behind a Metroidvania. I think if I were to make a game, it would be lean more Metroid, less Castle, just because Castlevania is largely built around melee combat. Metroid was about shooting on a side-scroller, which was, I think, a little more fun, a little more item-based. Not to say that Metroid wasn't item-based. Quake is the essential arena shooter, but only the multiplayer. Yes, but didn't Quake... Yeah, I think, though, is arena shooter referring to a multiplayer game, though? That's my question. Or the old LAN party games. You know, I'm not talking about multiplayer. I'm talking about, like, OG Duke Nukem, OG Doom. OG Wolfenstein. Like back when you had to run that shit on DOS. On that DOS. What's up, Dallas Adams? I'm talking about nonsense. No. GoldenEye was its own era. Was it within its own era of first-person shooters? Because you see, GoldenEye was out around the same time, and then you also had Perfect Dark, and then on PlayStation you had Time Splitters, and I think around that time the first Unreal came out. Boomer shooters. That's what they're called now. Boomer shooters. Okay. Who's calling? I feel offended that they're calling them boomer shooters. Are you saying that because I'm old? Have to take a jobs in finance or oil. Apparently oil fields pay crazy bank. Jet Force Gemini. Hey, listen. Perfect Dark 64 was a game changer, Bren. It was. Perfect Dark 60. Everybody, listen, every single thing that you liked about GoldenEye 64 was present and improved upon in Perfect Dark. That was the last great game made by Rareware for the N64 console. And then they jumped ship because they wanted to do bigger and better things than a cartridge system would allow, and then they basically went kaput because they couldn't make a good game on Xbox. And that for me is the biggest letdown. Well, I think the people who left Rare would go on to make Yooka-Laylee, so I think that was good. Build off the code for the Metroid 2 remake. That could be fun. Perfect Dark. Wait, there's a Perfect Dark remaster? There's a Perfect Dark remaster? Honestly, I think PlayStation in general, PlayStation has gotten away from a proprietary shooter. Like, when was the last Killzone that they released? I remember Killzone wasn't bad. I liked Killzone. Part of Rare Replay in 4K. But I'm saying ever since they stopped making Killzone games, Sony doesn't seem interested in a proprietary shooter anymore. Killzone was good. Killzone, had they kept that series going, it would be an ongoing competitor with Call of Duty and Black Ops, especially after Halo kind of left the mainstream. F's. Listen, Perfect Dark 64 was incredible. That Xbox Perfect Dark seemed to miss the point of why Perfect Dark was so good. Perfect Dark 64 was ahead of its time. So hopefully this new one, made by industry veterans, if you will, hopefully, all I can ask is hopefully they actually capture what made it fun. I'm a level with you. To this day, I haven't seen a game with the level of customization for the bots during multiplayer that Perfect Dark had. Perfect Dark, you could build your map and put in bots, and they had different styles of bots that you could program. I have yet to see a game that lets you do that. Yeah, you can put bots into multiplayer games, but I have yet to see one that gives you the level of customization that Perfect Dark gave you. It had bots. It had so many items that were ahead of its time. It was a shooter on the N64 that had bots. It was a shooter that had secondary fire for every weapon, with a secondary type of fire for every weapon. Yes, it ran on a goddamn potato. If you didn't have the expansion pack, you didn't get to do much. It was a game. It had a programmable shooting range in the game that was a ton of fun. Yeah, if you didn't have the expansion pack, I remember this. If you didn't have the expansion pack, it took out all of the Barrington Institute entirely, and it took out all of the shooting range, and I think it was just story mode and multiplayer. Female protagonist. Guys of the Wolf, a non-objectified female protagonist. Every AI enemy was fully voiced, and when I say fully voiced, they wouldn't just grunt or whatever. They would actually say things. Like if you shot them, and you could shoot, because you could shoot the weapon. You could shoot weapons out of the hand of enemies. You shot the weapon out of the hand, they were like swearing like, "Ah, she shot my gun." Yeah. Or they'd yell when you came around the corner, "Kill the bitch." And it was well voiced, killer music, and again, non-objectified female protagonist, plus a little alien named Elvis. Yes, you can shoot them in the dick too. You can shoot them in the dick. You can shoot the gun out of their hands. You can shoot them in the dick. Even the unarmed attack had an alternate attack where you could disarm. You could run up and do a disarm attack against someone and literally knock the weapon out of their hand and take it from them. It was far more, despite the fact that they only had 64 bits and however few crappy textures they could use for their models, their movements were very good. So, what's up? Shut up, a water vessel welder. Listen, in terms of a game about unionizing, I think you need some like Cities Skylines mods for that, if I had to guess. Oh, motherfucker. Come on. Dude, quit running on me. Nope. The aura of the ball is gonna kill me. Quit running on me. Sorry, chat. Bear with me for a second. Why won't you die? Jesus, how much armor does that dude have on? The second Perfect Dark was terrible. It missed the point. It was bad. Minecraft without ray tracing. So, all this talk about ray tracing, right? Hey, Mark, I played the latest Gears of War. What are we on? 6? 5? 5, I think. Because it was free on the Xbox Game Pass. Hey, you know, we really should give some credit to Gears of War. It kind of did the cover fire bit before even Mass Effect and made that really popular. The cover fire skill shooter. I mean, Mass Effect took it and ran with it, but technically speaking, Gears of War was doing that shit first. Gears 5. Yeah, I picked up Gears 5. I did play a little bit of that. Not really my cup of tea. I had some friends in high school who were super duper into the Gears games. Oh shit, my YouTube chat's working. Hey! Shit. Come on. Gears did have good representation, and Gears over time also took the opportunity to tell some much more complex stories. You know, they had characters deal with loss of family members and friends and partners and such. And you know, whenever it seems cheap, but whenever video games do that and they say, "Hey, let's actually tell a story for a second," it always gets critical acclaim. I mean, think back to the first Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, and the scene where... Hear me out here, folks. The scene in the first Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, when you're playing as the Americans, and you are flying through the Middle East, and dude detonates the warhead in the city, and your helicopter crashes, and you're crawling in the burning rubble of that helicopter, and you see your slain crewmates, and you crawl out, and you look up at the sky, and then you just die. People were literally reloading from a save because they thought they did something wrong, crawling around, and no, this is the first time in a game where a main character in the story, they just said, no, this is it, you just die. That's it. It's fucking war. You're the main character and now you're dead. That was actually something really fresh at the time that it came out. What are we talking about? Careful, they'll get the fucking Pinkertons on you. Did you know the Pinkertons still exist? Damn it, we gotta get this ball back. I bet he's hiding over here too. Little punk. Nope, nope, nope. So, living in the green, are you talking about trying to agitate for unionizing as Solid Snake? Poker update. Losing. You playing for money, Bren? Yeah, something like that happened in Halo Reach, I believe. It's for a game to not only make you lose, but also just make you come face to face with the fact that your main character, your emotionally invested character, is just killed, and that's just all there is to it. Live poker is fun. I was about to ask if you were winning, but I believe you did just say that not doing so hot. Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay. You want to know what's funny? Brent, I don't know if you consume alcohol. For me, there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot for the right amount of alcohol for me to drink to play poker, because I do need to drink some. If I don't drink any alcohol, then I will get impatient. And I'll start making riskier and riskier moves. So I need like 1 or 2 cocktails. And I need to maintain that level of tipsy throughout the game, or else I start getting impatient and I make risks that I shouldn't, instead of just waiting for my hand to show up. And that's the downside of it. Can't get too drunk or you're not paying attention to what you're doing. But the right amount of tipsy. We gotta get the lead. Gotta get the lead. Yes, we're in the lead. This is going to shit. Nope. Don't let green get it, for God's sakes. Okay. Hey, cute bridge. What's up? Hey, thanks for stopping in. Weed can help too. Right amount of tipsy, I agree. Local low. What if you're God level when you're blackout smashed? So, here's what I will say to that, Tenderizer. When I play billiards, I can be even drunker. And I need to be drunk when I shoot pool so that I relax my muscles, so I'm not stiff. Does that make sense? So, let's say tipsy when playing poker, and drunk when shooting billiards. This guy. Oh, this motherfucker. Hey, at least my chat's working again. Sober as a saint while committing a TOS. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Nixie Bird, thanks for the follow. If you're watching in there somewhere. Did we win? Ah. Come on. Got a 138 stack right now, and a half no limit last buy-in. Shouldn't even have rebought to begin with. What are you holding, Bren? If you don't mind me asking. Living in the green, thanks for stopping through. Make sure to give the YouTube channel head to the YouTube channel, Car on YouTube, and click subscribe and click the bell. I make lots of great content. Normally, my stuff is a bit more serious. Just folded a 5-9. Normally, my stuff's a little more serious, but sometimes I do like to have fun on stream and just chill. I was supposed to be talking about the news. Why have you all been distracting me this much? Jesus. So I had mentioned earlier that they did cast a tie-breaking vote on the COVID relief bill. The one silver lining to this is that it is able to pass without Republican support, and they can't filibuster this one. So that's a good thing. It's okay, Brent. I get it. It's that's why we're vibing on the news. It's kind of freeform this stream. There's no we're not doing any kind of lecture stream tonight. Yeah, it's not as dramatic of a nightmare. It's still pretty bad, but it's not. We have breathing room. We have wiggle room and a little bit of breathing room. So I'm just curious, just out of curiosity. I want to go look and see who's doing what. Let's go ahead and queue. What are we doing here? Damn, there are a bunch of people streaming right now. Why did I stream tonight? Why did I do this? Bad Bunny is streaming. Hassan is streaming, but I'm not going to get very many fans from Hassan. Let's be honest. Ike is streaming. Universal Discourse is streaming. DJ Marvel is streaming. Momo is streaming. Jesus, everybody I know is fucking streaming tonight. Why did I stream tonight? Monstera. Hey, Tyrannonati. Jesus. Google threatening to pull from Australia. Take on Biden promising 2K checks. Turn to 14. Yeah, Democrats disappoint you. We know this. This is nothing new. They're, you know what I think they're doing? They're torching their midterm elections. They're torching their midterm elections. And, hey, Guys of the Wolf, thanks. And ESO is not entirely like Skyrim, Monstera. Elder Scrolls Online is a MMO, so it does follow a little bit more traditional MMO format. It's largely made by ZeniMax Online Services, as opposed to your traditional development teams from Bethesda. This was a very different game than like Skyrim. It's extremely irresponsible. We do not want to lose the Senate. You're absolutely right, Brennar. Streaming is fun. So it is an Elder Scrolls themed MMO, and I have to make sure to tell you that, because if you go in expecting Skyrim, you'll be disappointed. That is actually why they had such a really rocky start at the beginning of this game's launch. Was part of it. A lot of people were coming in and saying, ooh, we could play Skyrim online. That's not what it is. It's an MMO. So it's a little more structured than Skyrim. Skyrim would not really work for an online, a fully online platform, just due to balance issues. Skyrim's not a very balanced game in any way, shape, or form. Personal anecdote. Audio is fine. Yeah, Bren, I would double check your audio, please. I don't think I'm muted. I haven't even touched the Streamlabs for a minute, so... break me off a piece of that. Let's go. Yes, we are getting a good lead. Audio good. Play more anime MMO. Ooh. Like what, Merc? Final Fantasy? I don't know about those. What is an anime? What's an example of a good anime MMO? I don't even know what a good anime and MMO is. They raise money losing. They raise more money losing. My chat scrolls in the opposite direction. Yeah, Genshin. The mobile game, Merc? You want me to stream the mobile game? Do you have any idea how many... Give up the 3,000 plus hours I have here in Elder Scrolls Online to sit and fiddle with my phone? Doesn't even look that good. See, I could never get into turn-based, so I never got into the Final Fantasy MMOs. It's on PC. Huh. I was wondering why so many streamers play it. Isn't that pretty pay to win? Like, Genshin Impact, isn't that like pretty ate up with microtransactions? Oh, motherfucker, you think... Oh. I gotta try not to swear on stream. Motherfucker. Okay. Took one with me. Is it action-packed, though, Merc, is the question. Is Genshin Impact full of action and combat? As you can see, I like the PvP. I'm pretty good at it, too. I'm better at PvP in this game than I'm at anything else, ever. Like, I'm just... Like you've seen, I am trash at Apex Legends. I am trash at Apex Legends. It's a fun game, except, you know, when you live long enough to do anything. Action RPG. God Eater. Looks like good action with suck weapons. Suck weapons. Sick weapons. Ah, okay. See, this is what happens when I don't read all of chat. Well, Tenderizer, that depends on your wallet. ESO is not free to play, it's subscription free. So you have to get the game. Now, Elder Scrolls Online does come with the Microsoft Xbox Live Game Pass. So if you have that subscription, it gives you a code to play Elder Scrolls Online already with your subscription to the Game Pass. MMOs are tricky with friends. I would say Elder Scrolls is one of the more forgiving MMOs. If I'm gonna sell you on ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, what I would sell you on is that you can basically play whatever game you want to play. As in, and when I say that, I mean whatever you want to get out of the game in whatever way, shape, and form. You can do it. If you want to be a crafter and sit at crafting tables and level up those skills and make lots of money, you can do that. I happen to be a master crafter. This is actually my master crafter character right here. If you want to PvP and massive world-style PvP, you can do that. That's in Cyrodiil in the game. If you want to PvP like I'm doing with instanced 24-minute long PvP battlegrounds, that's pretty fair too. And this is basically a 4v4v4 match, if that makes sense. Good job on the new job, Tenderizer. Did not do well that match. All right, next match. Whenever I get to the next match, I might not talk as much. I'll try to focus so you all can see me rack up some kills. But I know you all don't come to watch me play a much maligned mixed massive multiplayer online RPG. You all come to hear my dulcet tones and my smooth, relaxing voice. So, let's go for a ride together. Year's worth, half off on Black Friday. Yeah, well, Bren, Elder Scrolls Online is on the Game Pass, as is the wonderful Outer Worlds, as is a whole bunch of other stuff. Gears of War 5 is available on Game Pass, and that was one that that was a prestige release. Like, that was a hyped release. Final Fantasy 14. I can't speak to it because I haven't played it. I tried Final Fantasy 11 years ago, and the weird Final Fantasy MMO with turn-based combat style thing that they do, I can't do. I can't do it. I did hear Possessed Merc. I can't wait to see your graphic novel. I really can't. So make sure you link it, you know where, once it's done, so I can get a copy. Maybe I'll read it on stream or something. Style on noobs. Yep. All right. How long have I been doing this nonsense? All right. Let's see. I gotta clear my inbox. You see, right now the reason I'm doing this many battlegrounds is there's an event going on that's giving you extra prizes for doing battlegrounds, and I love extra prizes. So, creeping one. Are we going to talk about the Pandemonium Warden? Because the first time Final Fantasy made an MMO and made raids and boss fights, they killed some gamers in the process. Are we going to talk about that? Before I queue into another one, I do need to take a breather. So, and stretch out my... oh, you didn't hear that story, Tenderizer. Okay, so in Final Fantasy 11, there was a bad guy. You know what? We're gonna step away since this whole stream has gotten positively hijacked. We're going to step away from ESO for just a moment. Don't worry. We're going to style on more noobs. Don't you worry at all. We're definitely doing that, right? But I want to pull up something here. So, the Perfect Dark Remaster is on Game Pass. I don't have a Game Pass at the moment. I do have an Xbox One, an X-Bone. So let's talk about one of the hardest MMO bosses ever. And pardon the disturbing lack of pixels here, but we're talking about a boss called the Pandemonium Warden. You see, the Pandemonium Warden was a boss in Final Fantasy XI. Kind of bad pixels here, but bear with it. And basically, he was such a long and arduous fight that the fight could go on for over 24 hours and people still wouldn't succeed. And people have died staying in combat against this boss in a raid for so long that they literally they sat there in their chair till they had a heart attack and died. Like, that's terrifying, because the boss fight was so hard it would go on for like 48 hours straight. There was a couple bosses in Ragnarok Online that were pretty intense. Do you recognize this boss, Monstera? Were you the one talking about Final Fantasy? Or no, it was Creeping One. Creeping One, do you recognize this boss? Yep, and the Pandemonium Lamp, it's nuts. So, my point being, this is a boss fight. Hold on, I bet I can find the actual story. Give me a second. I bet I can find the actual story here. Some have said that Pandemonium Warden and Absolute Virtue, which is another boss in the game, were even designed to take over 16 hours to kill. So, basically, know the story, never played 11. Able to outlive a character that can respawn. Tenderizer. Nice. I've heard... Okay. Didn't they have to re-release 14 because it was so bad on release that they basically kind of had to redo their whole release of the MMO? Just throwing that out there. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. If you all bear with me for a second. Those of you watching on Twitch may see a short ad. I need to have a bio break, and I will be right back. So, be cool. All right, and we're back. Oh, did you fall asleep? Well, wake up. I am back. Just adjust my foot blanket here. It's actually quite cold down here in this chill little dungeon that I'm sitting in. Because there's no heating vent in here. Hear more about Afrovania. Hey, that's almost kind of definitely an idea for the name. So, I don't know. You know, part of me is leaning towards Afrofuture. Part of me is leaning towards more of a older, more neo-historic fantasy inspired. And but either way, I definitely want creatures, at least in part, inspired by African lore. You know, things like the Nyagana and the Adzi, right? And some of the West African deities and things like that, as well as, you know, some nice landscapes to travel around in the 2D space. All right. Let's smoke some fools. We're gonna get this. We're gonna destroy these chumps. Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I don't know how many of you play D&D or tabletop, but way back in the day, the D20 system was created by Wizards of the Coast and released as kind of sort of an open source system from which you could design other games. And along the way, someone made D20 Modern. And D20 Modern... the Tokoloshi? Yeah, that would be a good idea. D20 Modern is based off of 3.5, but more importantly, it's the Urban Arcana expansion, which was very popular in D20 Modern. Allowed for fantasy races and creatures to basically be brought in from what they called the Shadowlands. It was really awesome. Monstera, an interesting thing to think about too. Not even zombies. Like, okay, a lot of European folklore talks about undead in that way, and a lot of Caribbean folklore, I think, actually gave us the term zombie. Excuse me. And when you play a lot of fantasy games, skeletons no, I haven't listened to Adventures in New America, Fruit Bats. So when you play a lot of fantasy games, skeletons are often a plain generic bad guy that you have to mow through. See Castlevania, for instance. However, do you want to know what your generic boogeyman is on the African continent? It's not skeletons, vampires, or undead necessarily, while those all do have some form of representation. The boogeyman that features in so many of their stories is cannibals. They say, hey, this child wandered away from the tribe or from his home and was eaten by cannibals. Or this person was tricked to go into this place where they were eaten by cannibals. There's like multiple stories that have that ending. So take that opportunity to go in and say, so this is the kind of bad guy that scares these people. We're not going to apply a Eurocentric view on fantasy and monsters to an Afrocentric setting. Alright, what is this? I didn't pay attention. Chaos Ball. Alright, let's do it. Why aren't they down yet? Why are they still up there? Fine. I will defend the Chaos Ball myself. Yeah, all of you, if you haven't done so already, those of you on Twitch or those of you who have the ability to do so, just go on over to Twitch and throw a follow to Possessed Merc. Makes incredible art. Incredible art. And is far more driven towards creating, finishing projects than I am. Get away from me. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, there's a lot of children's stories about the fear of cannibals. Listen. So, here's the thing. There were some people who did practice cannibalism. There are some people who didn't practice cannibalism. More often than not, when you see cultures that practiced cannibalism to at least some degree outside of European cultures, you usually see it done as a thing to prisoners of war. It's kind of a sign of a total conquering of your enemy to eat them. But here's the thing. There's not a lot of tribes that actually did that. So, or groups, if you will. And you wouldn't do it in terms of naming a specific tribe. It's more along the lines of whenever you hear these Somali and West African stories, it's a sci-fi, political satire, Afrofuturist buddy comedy podcast. God, I gotta get on there. You're speaking in terms of some nameless, unorganized, roving cannibals that are literally just looking for lost children to eat and things along that line. So, I think it can be done tastefully without alienating someone, unless they are a person or group who literally thrives off of being identified as a roving cannibalist. Yeah, they have proverbs like every other culture. They have lessons, hard lessons that they teach you through scary stories. When I was a kid, I loved the work of, not a kid, when I was an adolescent, had my edgy phase, I loved the work of Edward Gorey. Edward Gorey wrote a whole alphabet, representative, each letter represented a sentence describing a kid with a name that began with that letter. And then it would go on to describe, usually rhyming, some form of horrible death that befell the kid. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Monstera. Hey, we got a werewolf on our team. I don't know if we're going to beat these guys. They're too turtled in. These guys are pulling this off really well. They might be a pre-made, since they allow pre-mades again. Which, you know, might not sound like a good thing, but then the fact that you can't queue in Battlegrounds with your friend, that sucks. And it sucks, and they do so much other stuff to incentivize playing in a group of two. But now, of course, that group of two can, in fact, queue for Battlegrounds. This is like beating your head against the wall. My God, why will you not die? Yep. Yeah, it would be an action game, Monster. It would be action, you know, there would still be that hack and slash element to it. So, you know, Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a hack and slash side-scrolling game. You can have physical melee weapons. You can pick up certain types of ranged spells that you can cast, usually in a limited fashion, and you can pick up gear. But it is largely action, so most of the game is going to be resolved through conflict, you know, involving action, I guess I should say. How did I die? What in the hell? Did I duel somebody? Was this busted? Alrighty. Really like. Listen, as I said, this is just the game I would like to make, people. There's so much coding and dev work that I would never even be able to get to. I don't know. Someday, when I get a whole buttload of patrons, hint, hint, I can hire a bunch of people who are good with the assets to make every element of the project. Because that's actually what I'm good at doing, is running projects. Plus, it would be great to be able to pay people for their work. Well, listen, gang. It has been a lot of fun. But I think I am going to call it tonight, since I don't have much else to say on the news, and I didn't have much chance to riff on the news. But I thank everybody for tuning in. So we are going to Twitch people. We're going to send a raid. What's up, Saber? How's it going? We were just, I was just wrapping up and getting ready to raid somebody, but thanks for stopping in. So, let's see here. Who's live right now? Oh, what happened to you, Ike? No. Yeah, you take care, Monster. Hey, Saber, yeah, sorry, you came at the end. I feel so horrible, too. Because this happens to somebody every time. Yeah, K Swiftly streaming. As is J-Dub and Universal Discourse. All right. Hey, we're going to hit up a friend of mine. I know I have a DJ buddy of mine, local, who I have a local DJ buddy of mine. We're going to raid his stream. So let's do that. Let me go to the dashboard before I lose all of you. Whoever's left watching. We're going to raid DJ Marvel. All right. Let's go. We're starting it up. Everybody ready up. Let's go, gamers. Hey, Tenderizer, thanks for giving out that tier 1 sub. Much appreciated. Yes, thank you for gifting that tier 1 sub. Damn it, why does it say nobody's ready to raid? Has nobody clicked ready on that raid? You just, in the chat, there's just an option, Monstera, to click that you want to raid or not. You don't have to do anything. You just click yes that you're ready to do it.